Hi, this is Ashley Victoria Robinson coming to you live from the Popverse here at Emerald City Comic Con, and I am here with the Godhead himself of not only 3 worlds but 3 moons, Mr. Jonathan Hickman. How are you today?
I'm good.
How has been your Emerald City Comic Con so far?
It's been good. You can tell everybody's been trapped in their house and happy to be here. Everybody's been super nice, which has been really good.
That is so lovely to hear. Now, I have a big question right off the top. If you could live on any of the 3 worlds or the 3 moons, which would you pick and why?
I would say Akfa. There's a religious war going on. There's no land. It's all boats. It seems like fun. So
I want to give you a lot of credit for being the only member of the team who actually picked a planet and didn't say all of them.
Sure.
But with that in mind, when you were creating this concept, where did the inspiration, where did the Big Bang come from, and why was Substack the right place to take 3 worlds, 3 moons?
Well, we like the idea of trying a new format. That's always fun. One of the big things about being an artist is you want to try new stuff. This was an opportunity to do that. In regards to the story and the universe that we were building, we like cycle stories, and this is a big one. And we like the structure of it because it let us go forwards and backwards in time if we want to, and it was really expansive enough that Mike and Mike could cut loose.
The double mics, I love it so much. Sure. You are talking about cycle stories. We talked a little about the religion in the world. You have created at least one entire religion so far. I am obsessed with Sig the Stag. Are we going to see more of him?
Yes, actually. Mike Del Mundo and I are doing a little graphic novella about it, so it's cool.
Oh, I'm going to say that you did that just for me, and that makes me very happy. Thank you so much.
There you go.
So we also talked about circle stories. So does knowing the future of the world help you access the present or the past of the narrative?
Well, I think all stories work that way, especially if you write like I do, where you kind of need to know the ending before you start at the beginning because you're building towards something. So my head generally works like that anyway. So some people may hate knowing when they're starting out. I find it very comforting. So.
Are you a full script kind of guy? How much detail do your scripts look like?
It really depends on the person that I'm working with. Obviously I have done a bunch of work for Marvel and they like their scripts a certain way. But I just finished Decorum before this with Mike Huddleston, and we worked without pages broken down. I would just write scenes, and then he would just draw however many pages it was. When I did East of West with Nick Dragata, we worked Marvel style, like old school Marvel style, where I would write 3 paragraphs for the issue. He would just draw whatever he was going to draw, and then I'd go back and script it. I think trying not to be too formulaic and not too set in your ways, being open to trying new things. I think that's part of being creative. So I dig all that.
I really love the exploration of the father-son relationship in Foundations. So I want to ask, do you identify more with, I'm going to say Tajo?
Sure.
Or Finn, the father and the son duo that we meet in the first issue?
Well, we all have daddy issues, right? But I tend to, my oldest son is 18 and my youngest is 15. So when I started, doing comics 15 years ago, my boys were babies, right? And so I had a tendency, like I wrote a Fantastic Four book that was basically a love letter to my kids. Whenever I get a chance to do that, I enjoy doing it. So.
Okay, you brought up Fantastic Four, so I have to ask, there is a Fantastic Four movie come out. My favorite thing about the Fantastic Four is the Future Foundation. Will they be showing up, and would you tell me if you knew?
No, I would not tell you if I knew. I have no idea what Studios is doing in particular. A lot of that stuff is so far down the road. They've got 8 more movies to make before then. So I don't know where any of that stuff is at right now, but fingers crossed that they make a great Fantastic Four movie.
Same. All right, back to Foundations. I have to ask because you are really known for your design elements and the fonts and the letters. And Foundations in particular has a really beautiful alien language script. Is it harder to work on a concept for that than an English language font?
Well, I just think that stuff is fun. But we should point out that I actually did not design all of that. The really, really talented Sasha Head did all of that. I've been working with Sasha for a couple years now, better than I am. Very, 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 very good at this stuff, and she has just done a marvelous job because she designed all of our books too. So she's great, and I just told her have fun.
Aww.
So she had fun. That's kind of our mission statement. Right? Don't be boring. Have fun.
Aww.
So.
That's so great. Everything is so great. When you're working with a designer like Sasha or Tom Muller, is that different than when you're working with an artist doing panels on the page? How does that collaboration look?
I think so. It's a different muscle. The biggest thing, in regards to working with other creative people, especially visually creative people, is you want to get out of the way as much as you can, but you want to give them enough that it flips that switch in their head and they're excited about the idea, just a little spark, to get them going. So all the X stuff that Tom, did at Marvel and everything that I've done with Sasha, you just say, how about this and this, and it might look something like that, and you just give a little mock-up or something like that, and then you let them run. I mean, they're so good. Get out of the way. I mean, that's always good advice.
I think get out of the way is really good advice.
I think so. Yeah.
So I was delighted when I read Foundations #1 to discover that there was back matter. So when you were creating that issue, was your mind always to include back matter? Is that looking more to serving the audience that's reading it right now, or maybe a future print audience?
Well, I definitely have a way that I tell stories, and there's no getting away from that. But, the thing about the Substack stuff, the thing about, the Three Worlds, Three Moons website is that we have to produce a lot of extra content anyway. And so the idea of when we're doing that content, it should be multi-purpose. We should be able to use it as a letter to the audience that's checking it out, but it also should be usable narratively, right? And we think we do an okay job with that now. When we started this a year ago, we didn't know what we were doing, and we screwed up a lot. Like we would spoil stuff, and we'd give too much away because we wanted to give everybody an insight into all of the process. But I think we got a pretty good handle on it now, and I think we're doing all right.
So you broke into comics doing Comic Book Idol, and and your Substack in particular is really lauded for having a wonderful relationship with the readers. Everybody here has said great things about the fans. How has your relationship to the comic book reading audience changed over the years?
That's a tough question.
Thank you.
I think the probably most honest answer is, over the years I've learned that I'm not super interesting, but I'm fortunate enough to have a super interesting job and make super interesting stories that people really, really love and resonate with them. And so, again, I think you need to get out of the way with the audience. Nobody wants to hear, 5 people may want to hear what I had for breakfast, right? But I know tens of thousands of people want to hear a story about a kid growing up on another planet or whatever, that's, and I think that's a healthy respect for the audience. They're here for the stories, not for me, and so I try and do a bunch of stories.
You have spoken incredibly respectfully about your collaborators in all formats and about the audience members. If you could change anything about the contemporary comic book industry, what would it be and why?
My God, I don't think that one thing would do it. Obviously, there's a lot of systemic stuff that we need to change. I think if I had to boil it down to one thing, it would be make the best books possible, right? Like that's the only thing that is the only silver bullet that is a path forward for decades and decades and decades, is we have to be doing the best work we can possibly be doing. That's not a great answer because it's, we should be doing wider market stuff. We should be doing evergreen books across the board. We should be, so much smarter in how we're tiering our product and the channels that we're selling it in and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we got to make killer books. And if we don't make killer books, we're selling covers.
I would say that you and the dueling mics are living that right now, and I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
So lastly, here in the Popverse, we celebrate the best in TV, movies, and comics. What are you geeking out about right now that you are not working on?
Oh, man, I love The Bear. Did you watch The Bear?
Yes. Oh my gosh, Hulu.
I was trying to explain it to my wife because she was like, I'm not going to watch the show.
Oh, no.
And so I was telling her about it, and because I wanted her to watch the last scene, right?
Yes.
Right? And so I was telling her, and I was telling her the backstory, and I was getting choked up about it because I so get it. I get it in such a major way. And so, and I guess I shouldn't spoil it for everybody.
I don't
want to spoil it. But anyway, I was telling my wife, and I was all choked up, and she was like, "Sounds good," and it is good. You should watch The Bear.
All right, Jonathan Hickman, thank you so much for joining us here in the Popverse. Where can people support you online? Where can they follow you? Where can they read all of the amazing new works that you are putting out every single day? It feels like.
Just go to 3W3M. And check out what we're doing. Obviously, I do stuff for other companies and all that. They sell books. You can buy those in stores.
Thank you for joining us here today in the Popverse. I have been Ashley Victoria Robinson, and we will see you next time.